Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Based on Zhou Tianyuan's understanding of Ji Tiandao, it was impossible for old villain Ji to let his son go. In fact, he would not even be given a chance to see his son. He was aware of the Evil Sky Pavilion's rule: those who had joined the Evil Sky Pavilion had to sever their past ties. This was the reason he had decided to act first and report later. He truly did not expect old villain Ji would leave the decision up to his son. Zhou placed his hands on his back and turned to the side to gaze into the distance. Behind his back and turned to the side as he gazed into the distance. Half of the divine capital's sky was dyed red by the setting sun. It was an exceptionally beautiful sight. He thought to himself that teaching a disciple was a long and difficult journey. However, he was inherently different from Ji Tiandao when it came to educating the disciples. Zhu Honggong mulled over the matter for a while before he finally turned to Zhou Tianyuan and kowtowed. Thud. Although Zhou Tianyuan was shameless, the skin on his face as thick as the city walls, he could not suppress his surging emotions at this moment. Zhu Honggong kowtowed thrice before he said, "Please forgive me for not being able to go with you. Master raised me and taught me how to cultivate. How can I abandon him?" Zhou Tianyuan sighed when he heard Zhu Honggong's words. Jiangpu and the others shook their heads, feeling that it was a great pity. Jiangpu sighed and tried to persuade Zhu Honggong. "Young master, if you don't return, the ancient saint cult will fall into the hands of others." Zhu Tianyuan raised a hand to interrupt Jiangpu and said, "I respect your choice." There was no greater grace than the act of raising someone. Although he was slightly surprised by Zhu Honggong's decision, he could understand it. Zhu Honggong said, "I'm not interested in the ancient saint cult and have no intention of becoming a holy child." Zhu Tianyuan sighed again and said, "Oh, well. In any case, I'm happy enough that I got to meet you today." Ding. Disciplined Zhu Honggong. Reward, 500 merit points. Zhou did not expect to be rewarded for this. He was merely acting on his own accord. Based on this, the rascal's character could be seen. Despite the rascal's loose mouth, the rascal was sincere. All those lessons didn't go to waste. Zhou looked up at the sky and called out, "Old Eighth." Zhu Honggong immediately rose to his feet and followed Zhou. It had only been an instant, but Zhu Tianyuan seemed to have recovered from his dejection. He shamelessly asked, "My son, can you call me father before you leave?" Call him father? To be honest, when Zhu Honggong was kowtowing earlier, he had the urge to call Zhu Tianyuan father. However, upon seeing Zhou Tianyuan's behavior now, the urge was completely swept away. How awkward. He remained silent and followed Zhou out of the courtyard. Safe journeys, Senior Ji. Young master. After the duo left, Zhou Tianyuan sighed in disappointment. "I'm a failure of a man." Jiangpu kneeled and said, "It was I who was useless." "That's enough. This is old villain Ji we're talking about. Do you really think you can win him?" Zhou Tianyuan rolled his eyes. Jiangpu's face flushed red. "He's the great nine-leaf cultivator, after all. If he had the intention, you would have died. Do you think you'd still be able to stand here?" "However, I really didn't expect his temperament to change this much," Zhu Tianyuan said. "If young master isn't going to inherit the cult, are we going to sit back and do nothing while the cult falls into the hands of others?" Jiangpu asked. "Then ancient saint cult is already declining. If it's gone, it's gone. I'm relieved to see my son living a good life. What should we do now?" "We'll stay, of course. I won't leave until he calls me father." "That ungrateful brat," Zhu Tianyuan said resentfully. Back in Dajing Palace, Zhu Honggong obediently trailed after Zhou without saying a word. Zhou's thoughts were not on Zhu Honggong at all, he was thinking about the diary the entire time. He walked to the rush cushion, lost in his thought, and sat down cross-legged. Zhu Honggong did not dare to disturb his master when he saw his master deep in thoughts. When he turned around, he saw his third senior brother, Duanmu Shang, passing by Dajing Palace. He immediately bowed and said, "I'll receive my punishment from third senior brother at once, master." Lu Zhou flipped through the diary as though he did not hear Zhu Honggong. Zhu Honggong left Dajing Palace. Third senior brother. What? Please hit me. Zhu Honggong requested with a bow. Duanmu Sheng frowned. I don't have such strange fetishes. That's not what I meant. I've made a mistake and should be punished with the rod. Master is currently occupied, and your seniority is the highest now. It's most appropriate for you to punish me. Here, hit me. Don't hold back the most. Zhu Honggong pointed to his back. Duanmu Sheng regarded Zhu Honggong with a complicated gaze and said, "Weirdo." After saying that, he turned around and made his way to a deserted plaza. Duanmu Sheng did not walk very far away when he heard Zhu Honggong exclaiming emotionally, "Although third senior brother is slightly dumb, he's really kind to me." Duanmu Sheng turned around. "Old eighth, come here." Huh? Zhu Honggong was confused. When Duanmu Sheng saw Zhu Honggong did not move, he went over and hoisted Zhu Honggong up before he fiercely kicked Zhu Honggong's buttocks. Although Zhu Honggong weighed several hundred catties, he could not withstand Duanmu Sheng's kick. He drew an arc in the air as he was sent flying. A miserable wail resounded in Dajing Palace. "I'm merely fulfilling your wish. Just as well. This is a good chance to polish my spear techniques." Inside Dajing Palace, Lu Zhou was flipping through the pages of the diary. Although the text was a blur, it was readable, for the most part. It's still uncertain if the problem is caused by the Golden Lotus. Would anyone be willing to listen to me and try? The next page read, "It's hard to fathom a person's mind. I must have control over my power. I must obtain sufficient power to protect myself. I can feel that some cultivators are getting greedy and want to steal the cultivation methods. Some cultivation methods are too profound, but I've memorized them. Who created these methods?" Lu Zhou was puzzled when he read that. Did the Lua woman's cultivation method not come from her hometown? If that was the case, where did she obtain her cultivation method? The diary did not mention the source of the cultivation methods. He could only make his own guesses. The next few dozen pages were all records of her feelings. They did not provide him with anything of substance. When he was halfway through the book, he saw something interesting again. It read, "After researching for a long time, I've proven that the golden lotus absorbs life while the red lotus will not. A 600 years old 8-leaf cultivator, Feng Ku of Mabe, failed to reach the 9-leaf stage. He died. 400 years weren't enough. Xie Han of Yang Province, a 400-year-old 8-leaf cultivator, failed to reach the 9-leaf stage. He died. 600 years weren't enough. Han Song of Liang Province, a 300-year-old 8-leaf cultivator, failed to reach the 9-leaf stage. He died. 700 years weren't enough." All in all, there are 3 pages that recorded failed attempts on attaining the 9-leaf stage. Upon reading all these things, Lu Zhou understood now why Zhu Tianyuan referred to her as legendary. These 8-leaf experts were all great individuals renowned throughout history. And yet, they were only subjects of her experiments and researches. The youngest one was a 100-year-old cultivator. The pages read, Mo Jiangnan, a genius from Great Yan's Qing province. 100 years old. Failed to reach the 9-leaf stage. He survived but lost nearly 900 years of his life. Is it possible that the people here are incapable of reaching the 9-leaf stage? Perhaps, I should take a look at the other tribes. The following pages after that documented her negative feelings. One day, I'll find the answer. Exploration never ends. Don't give up. After reading that, Lu Zhou found the Lua woman's emotions were easily swayed. She seemed young, but she seemed to know how to manage her emotions. She would often motivate herself in her diary. It was clear she held herself to a certain standard. Zhou wondered if she was the mad person the great Yan's imperial tutor had mentioned. Why did their opinions differ so much? Zhou continued reading. I bought a crude map from a stall. The strange thing is, apart from the difference in details, its outline is similar to my hometown. Sometimes, I wonder if I'm dreaming. However, I have sufficient methods to differentiate the real thing from the fake one. The next few pages were filled with symbols Zhou could not understand. These must be the symbols she frequently uses. He continued to read. I'm lacking information on younger 8-leaf cultivators to determine how many years of life the golden lotus takes. This is a difficult question to tackle. The 8-leaf cultivators here only live up to 1,000 years. The golden lotus absorbs more than 900 years of life. The next entry read, I thought about a new method today. The red runes can be used to prolong a person's life. The remaining runes will easily expose my identity. I hid them in the ancient tomb. What followed was a series of dates without context. After that, Zhou discovered there was a considerable number of pages that had been torn away. The second last page read, the method to replenish one's life can be applied while attempting the breakthrough. However, the requirements are very strict. My experiments show that the red runes can't be used while the method in the day is more suitable. Based on my estimation, the golden lotus should take about 1,100 to 1,200 years of life. Although the problem of the golden lotus is solved, this method is demanding. Is there some other method that's more suitable for the masses? If only everyone has the same exploratory spirit as I have. Alas, most people here aren't interested in the 9-leaf stage. It's unfortunate that I still don't have an answer for the heaven and earth shackle problem. Luckily, the people here aren't troubled by it. The final page read, I'm not the only one who has come here. The handwriting on the final page was messy and looked like it was written in haste. Based on the diary, Zhou concluded that the Luo woman had vast knowledge and powers she could not stably control. He was inclined to agree with Yuntian Luo that the woman was most likely a 9-leaf or 10-leaf expert. If the contents of the diary were true, that there were more than or 2 people with profound cultivation bases and red lotuses here, why was there no disaster like the great Yan's imperial tutor had predicted? The surviving pages contained detailed records of her works. They did not seem like the meaningless scribblings of a lunatic. This was especially true about the amount of life taken by the golden lotus. She came to the conclusion that it took between 1,100 to 1,200 years of life. Could a lunatic come up with an answer like that? Zhou wondered if the Luo woman was still alive, and if so, where was she? Could she still be alive after all these years? What would she think about the problems being solved by severing one's golden lotus? He closed the old notebook. Part of the book's corner fell off due to its old age. He continued thinking to himself in silence. He was slightly disappointed there was no mention of her hometown in the diary. He was curious if everyone from her hometown cultivated a red lotus. Red lotus. Zhou was reminded of Conch. Perhaps, he could learn something about the red lotus cultivation from Conch. After that, he closed his eyes and meditated on the when he thought about this, Zhou closed his eyes and meditated on the heavenly writing scrolls. The next morning, Zhou summoned Conch to Dajing Palace and sent the others away. Conch did not know what her master wanted. She bowed, curious. Master. Zhou appraised Conch. Show me your avatar. Oh. Conch opened her fair little hand. With just a thought, she summoned an avatar that resembled a little red statue that hovered above her palm. Indeed, the avatar was red, but there was no red lotus. Was he mistaken? Did he see the reflection from the golden mirror wrongly? Zhou flipped his palm. The golden Taishu mirror appeared in his hand. With a surge of primal qi, the golden mirror shone brightly and illuminated Conch. Shortly after, the reflection showed a red lotus under the red avatar. A red lotus. Zhou put the golden mirror away and asked, Are you nearing a breakthrough? Conch did not understand her master. She asked excitedly, Master, am I going to have another breakthrough again? Again. What would the others feel if they heard this? Zhou gauged her cultivation base. Indeed, she was in the late stage of the divine court realm. However, she was still some ways away from 100 Tribulations' insight. As a unique treasure, the golden mirror could verify an object's authenticity. It was unlikely for it to be mistaken. This meant that Konk's actual potential was most probably already at the 100 Tribulations' insight stage. This was not cultivation. It was a kind of awakening. Konk, have you seen a red lotus before? Zhou asked. Konk nodded. Where? I don't remember. Do you remember how you came here? I don't. Zhou wondered if Konk had lost her memories, just like he did. That's all for now. Go and cultivate. Yes, master. Konk turned around and skipped out of Dajing Palace. As Zhou looked at her retreating back, he wondered if Red Lotus cultivators were like giants next to ants. The diary stated that Red Lotus would not absorb life. This meant that Red Lotus cultivators were not subject to the life limit between the 8-leaf and 9-leaf stage. The tides of the times were turning. Nobody knew what the future held. 10 days later. Under the moonlight. At the end of the land of buried bones, Yuan'er was lying on a tree branch of a towering tree near the quagmire with the longevity sword in his hand. His eyes were tightly shut. Nay. Ji Liang circled back toward him from afar. Then, it flew in a circle above the quagmire before flying off into the distance. Was it searching for food or for a female horse? At this moment, Yuan'er opened his eyes. His ears twitched. He moved and leaped off the branch. Like seeds of willow, he adjusted his body's angle and flew toward the quagmire. He looked down. He heard a gurgling sound. Yuan'er smiled faintly. You're a lucky one. These were signs that Zhenghai managed to cling to his life. Wookieans lived in caves and ate dirt. When they died, their hearts remained uneroded. When they were buried, they could be reborn. Yuan'er could feel the primal qi in the surroundings being drawn to the quagmire. He could also feel the density of the sun and moon essence inside the pool of water. He had been keeping an eye on the minute changes of the quagmire over the past 10 days. In the beginning, it was deathly still, the quagmire was devoid of movements. For a time, he was worried and disappointed. Even then, he did not give up. This was Zhenghai's final chance, the only chance he had to live. He wanted to do everything he could, so he waited patiently. Yuan'er circulated some primal qi and sent it toward the quagmire. He attempted to sense what was happening under the surface. Perhaps, it was due to the natural terrain and the wonderful surroundings, his primal qi scattered and returned to the natural world when it drew close to the pool of water and mud. The heavens taught humans cultivation, enabling them to control primal qi from the natural environment. It was a power to protect themselves, and a power to destroy the world. Sometimes, even a powerful 8-leaf expert seemed as insignificant as a grain of sand in the vast and mysterious world of nature. Oh, well, I've never been short of patience. I just hope you don't disappoint me. Yuan'er shrugged as he hovered in the air. The night grew darker. The stars sparkled brilliantly in the sky. Yuan'er rose higher than the tree as he attempted to find Ji Liang. He did not see Ji Liang's shadow, but he saw a procession of cultivators flying slowly toward him under the moonlight. Yuan'er frowned slightly and entered the forest.